Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey everyone. What a great show. Oh my gosh. Colette, Marie, Stefan in the house. Now, I want to say to everybody, if you did not get our Skype, if you did not get our, what the heck did we do? Oh, social media. If you didn't get the social media post, all you need to do, and I think Maria has already posted it, but post it again, Maria. Go to the drpatshow.com, Transformation Talk Radio. This is a live video with Colette, Marie, Stefan. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the video part of what we're doing here, guys. This is not really just about having my friend, my colleague on the show and just a bunch of talking heads. Although I will tell you, if you ever want to watch Colette, you can do it because she is a show all by herself. But what's happening is we have created something that is amazing with visual radio. So as we're doing this show, you're probably seeing, if you're at the Dr. Pat Show and you're watching the live stream, you're probably seeing information come across the screen. You're going to see quotes. You're going to see book covers. You're going to see images. Bam. Why? Because that's the way I see the world. That's the way a lot of you see the world. I am so thrilled. I'm thrilled to have Colette here. And let me tell you why. It is not just because I got to know her a bunch of years ago with The Truth is Funny, fabulous, fabulous radio show, but because she is out into the world. And what she's doing is she's saying, you know what? I'm just not going to talk about healing. I'm not just going to talk about energy. I'm going to get out in the world. I'm going to do something about it. Her book, boom. The Truth is Funny is a masterpiece. I have written about it. I have talked about it. And today we are featuring it. Colette, I want to get right to you. Welcome to the show. It's so great to have you here. You and I are probably going to laugh so hard today. We're probably going to go get up and go to the BRB real quick here. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Pat. It's just a total pleasure to be on your show and to be able to see you this time.
I know, with my hair like not blonde now. I got to go get my hair done. I haven't done it. That'd be
Love
us.
It.
We're two sexy chicks. I didn't introduce you on purpose. And the reason I didn't is because I really want to feature your journey and your story. You know, people that write a book that's called, The Truth is Funny. This is the book you've written. Someone that writes that book. Most people would think, you know what? Maybe she was born with a silver spoon. Maybe this was it. I want to ask you this question. How funny is the truth about Colette Marie Stefan?
Well, it's been a really interesting journey. When I got into healing, it wasn't fun at that time at all. My father had been very ill for 4 years. He was paralyzed from head to toe for about a year. He had Guillain-Barré syndrome. And then my niece was in a real tragic car accident 5 weeks after he passed. And my sister contacted a remote healer, and my niece came back to us after we were told that she was going to be brain damaged beyond repair. So that sort of put me on my journey. What I find is, people, when they are shifting energy, when they're feeling a shift in energy, they do one of two things. Either they start to cry, and it's kind of like this sentimental sadness. It's part of them leaving, or they will start to laugh. And I love when people laugh because they'll be talking about something and they'll be crying and it's so horrible. And then all of a sudden they just crack up laughing because they can feel the energetic shift. That is fun.
Yes. I want to talk with you because when we met a bunch of years ago, you had said to me, I'm making a shift. Now, this is really the tagline for the show. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you said, I'm going to make a shift. And I'm like, okay, no, it wasn't just a shift. It was like, I am reinventing myself, my vision, my mission. I'm not even calling the show name anything that ever existed before. I'm going to go on this journey. I'm going to have some of the best talk radio, which you do. And then more recently, you said to me, I'm going to write a book. And I thought,
Yes.
okay, I've been talking about writing a book, but you know what? You actually did it. I need to know from you
Hey,
what
I have the book here,
secret.
Pat.
Oh, show it. Hold it
There
up.
we go.
Now, I got to ask you about this because I was part of, looking at the book. I love the book. I read it. I've never seen a book like this in my life. But the cover, fascinating cover. Tell me about what went on in the mind and the soul of Colette Marie Stefan giving birth to this.
Well, that is a good description of giving birth to it because I used to think that the 28 hours of labor with my oldest daughter was long, but this was like 28 months of
Wow.
like really, once I decided I am going to write this book. The cover is actually this is the infinity symbol. And I was painting dragons. I started painting dragons 7 years ago, and that's actually off the first painting of the dragon. And she's sitting on a crystal generator, and she's got the infinity symbol going up and away, which infinity, getting into your infinite potential. And then I was like, kind of, I thought, how hard can it be to write a book?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So tell
And
me about it. How hard was it?
it was one of the most challenging things I've done simply for the reason that I don't like to think that much. And, because I like to use my intuition. And so in writing this book, what happened is I was taking all this information from all my a decade basically of studying with some very, very brilliant mentors. And then with your radio show, I've had all of these people come on the show. I have my colleagues that I've worked with. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a book that would explain from A to Z, which is what this book has, different problems that people have, and then let people know what happens for me when I'm shifting that energy and actually show them
Yeah.
through writing about it what my process is. And I always say with this book, you want to make sure that the process is that you always use your intuition. Your intuition is always the number one guiding force for everyone, and all of us have like this beautiful wealth of experience. Like, I'm a mom. Like both my daughters were in competitive sport. They were competing nationally.
Yeah.
I had my father I had his situation. I've had so many brilliant, beautiful events happen. And when I wrote the book, I decided to call it "The Truth Is Funny, Shift Happens," the same as the radio show. And then I realized that this is actually stuff you wish your mom had known to tell you.
Yeah, yeah. It really is. I mean, what I'm fascinated by is, there are a lot of people that are writing books today that are actually not writing their own books. When I got your book to review, I was blown away by it because you left no stone unturned. I mean, I went through that book and I thought, okay, I'm going to find something Colette left out. No, no. The question really is when somebody shows up as truth, the way that you have, you get information and you get information from a lot of sources. I would love for you to share a little bit about how this information came to you.
I honestly feel that this information is channeled to me from what higher source, infinite potential information. We all have access to this information that's out there. We are all connected. I really want people to realize that it's kind of, I call it the higher self network, HSN instead of MSN.
Right.
And we're always chatting with each other, whether we're aware of it or not. And I have always had this kind of knowing, like where my intuition's pretty sharp. Having said that, I didn't know how to use it in a very effective way. And after my niece was in that accident and this amazing long distance healer brought her back to us, and I saw that happen, I was so driven. I wanted to know, how is it possible to shift energy? And for me, I've studied under some of the most brilliant people, and then I also consider the people that I get in touch with, my clients. I do private sessions still, and a lot of marketing people will tell you, don't do private sessions, you're not going to make the same money, and that is my favorite thing. I love working with people individually and seeing them blossom. Like just last week, I had a situation with a little baby in the hospital, newborn, and was readmitted to the hospital because of jaundice. And they were telling the parents that this child is actually close to brain damage.
Ah,
And just by connecting with them through text, actually, identifying what the underlying actual energetic weaknesses were, and they brought the baby to the hospital. And this is such a beautiful mix, because if you use the everything we have, the medical industry and people work intuitively together, we can do so much more. So the baby was under the lights, and in the first day, overnight, that baby gained 90 grams instead of the 30 that they expected. Now, the underlying weakness there was some karma that the mother had, and her concern for the baby being able to have enough nutrition, that her
ah,
milk was good enough. And once that was cleared, the baby's out of the hospital now. I like those stories
yeah, I do too.
because it's I've seen so many people. I've shared this information with so many different people from all walks of life. I've been to Spain and Egypt and Germany and England and Canada and United States, and talking to people from India, from Africa, all over the place. And I find that we all have these abilities. Everyone has it. Some people put more energy into it, and so then it's like honing a skill. And the
Yes.
thing is about energy work, a lot of times people feel that they want a magic pill so that nothing bad ever happens again.
Right, 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 right.
uh,
Or something like I could put on my face like at night, and I could put it all over my face at night, and then when I go to bed, and the next morning I wake up, and boom, I have a whole different look. I have a whole different face, and I have a whole different life. But you know what? Shift doesn't quite happen like that. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the truth is funny. How funny really is it? It's hilarious. It's a rock
it
star.
is.
It is crazy. And what is that picture in the back of Colette Marie Stefan? What is that picture? Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back. It's so great to have you. If you go to the drpatshow.com, scroll down to the middle, Mr. Justin is pushing all the right buttons, getting videos up there. There are images up there. This is like an amazing light show. You might as well be in the planetarium, New York, and check out what Justin, Jessica, and the team has put together because why? We got Colette Marie Stefan in the house. The book is The Truth is Funny. Here's what I want to say about the book, and then we're going to get into really good news. This is not just a book that gives you a lot of information. It is about everything you wish your mom would have told you and didn't. I don't think that she told me because honestly, I don't think my mom knew. So today, we're talking about a nugget of wisdom from the universe. Colette, give out your website, and then we're going to talk about what that nugget looked like for you and what role do dragons have to play.
Okay. Well, my website is thetruthisfunny.com. I can be reached there at info@thetruthisfunny.com. I also have energetic upgrade seminars, which I am sharing information with my colleague from Germany, Mark Kettenbach. And we have been having seminars for the last 2 years now in Germany, England, and in Canada here. And, getting some really amazing results with that. The dragons, well, those are tales from the vector. I started painting dragons about 7 years ago. And I have 16 to date, and they come in, and I see them, and I've got one behind me here,
I
which I
know.
can lift up
Yes.
and show you.
Yes. Please show
But
us. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's one, and then there's another one here.
Wow.
The dragons were coming to me because it's very, very common when people are doing a lot of using their intuition. What happens is you start having some creative solutions, and your creativity goes up. And so these dragons, I started painting them, and I just had so much fun doing it. And then I realized, oh, they have a story, and I've been working on it. And now that I finished writing the book, editing the book, formatting the book, doing all of that, I'm ready now to put my dragons out in print. A lot of people have been asking me to get the dragons out there because the dragons are kind of, if you put a painting in your house, you can actually shift energy with a painting. And this, my first dragon is Ange Extasia, and she is the crystal queen, and she laid all the crystal eggs for the earth. And so she, on her spine, she has, oh, I think she, and in total, she has 160 crystals on her. And I actually painted the crystal energy into them because I have my master of Christology. I've studied crystals for some time now. And so I let the dragons and the book and the energetic upgrade seminars and then my radio show. It seemed like it seemed for me that the more energy work I do, the more I want to share this. I really wanted to share with people that the nuggets of wisdom, I think I have 138 nuggets of wisdom in this book. And I will be putting those also. I'm going to make product like with little videos and
Wow.
explanations if people want to take it a little bit further.
Yeah.
Also working on doing an app. And so because I really want people to understand this, that, the number one weakness for any child is a mother's worry. And
Mm,
if we can get past worrying about our children and we can see them with a strong future, we can make such effective change. Over the years, I've worked with children with autism and other spectrum disorders, and a lot of my students are now, and I love this. This is so beautiful. A lot of my students now are working with people, and I have one young woman in particular whose child was basically non-functioning. He was diagnosed with 5 different disorders, including autism and many others. And we worked together just in one session. Her son took a shift, and they were already taking him off his medications. He's now medication free, and he's going to school, and he's playing. He has friends, and you know, and she's now helping other parents who have have autistic, or who have children who've been labeled with autism. The thing is about my book, I didn't just want to write a book, and there's absolutely no way I was getting anyone else to write this book for me, because my book actually, my intention is that it actually does shift energy. And what's coming now, because it's been out there, it's on Amazon now in ebook and in print now, that people are coming back to me and saying, I can feel the shift
Yeah. Yeah.
as they're reading the book. And that was my intention. In my book, I have the physical problems or physical parts of the body in bold, and
Right.
then the non physical is in italic bold. And it's to grab, and as people are reading it, they'll find that a lot of people are saying they're falling asleep, they're yawning, or if you're going to clear energy out of the body, you have to go use the bathroom quite often.
Right,
So
exactly, exactly. But this is what I love about the book and what you've written in the book. And for those of you out there, I want to make sure everybody knows this book is available now.
yes.
So tell people how they can get a copy of the book, because it's one thing for you and I to talk about it, because you and I have been talking about it for like a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
People can actually get the book, right?
Yes, you can get it at, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You can also get it directly from my wonderful publisher, lulupublishing.com, which um, they've been really, really helpful with people who are publishing, self-publishing, to get their books out there. You can also go directly to my site, and you can purchase a book there with an intention in it that
Yeah.
I'll send out. So there's many, just if Amazon is probably the easiest for many, or Lulu Publishing. And I'm thrilled like that it's out there now, because as you start something like this and you start to, breathe life into it. And I had wanted to talk today about, success.
Yes.
And so my nuggets of wisdom, if you live successfully, you will be successful. So that doesn't mean like fake it or make it. That's not what
No,
I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is breathing life into what you want.
I love it. I want to just say this. If you're watching the live video, this is live for you guys today. Go to the drpatshow.com. And actually, I'm not sure, Justin, where everybody else can go, but I know it's like a bunch of places. I think it's even like YouTube. Uh, I mean, this is me, Colette. You got to just bear with me.
So I understand.
Yeah,
Trust me.
Maria has sent out posts, but I love what Justin is doing, because, you and I are really visual. So when they talked about this idea of doing this, I said, yeah, we can do it. But, people don't want it just to see a couple of talking heads. So as people are watching the video, we've got testimonials coming up on the screen. We've got pictures of your book. And it's so important that we show people and demonstrate in the way that our medium right now is wanting to be projected. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Colette, one of the things I want to talk about is I want to talk about these nuggets. I want to talk about success. And
Hmm.
part of this is, we've been doing this 13 years with radio and evolve and keep evolving. And the reason we're able to do this way is because we're not owned by a big conglomerate. We're not owned by one of the two companies that own all media in the United States. So pretty soon we're launching a campaign that's called Take Back Talk Radio to Give Back Talk Radio. And part of what you've written in the book has inspired us to do this. We're going to take a short break. When we
Wow.
come back,
I
what
want
does
to
that
hear
feel
about
like?
that.
Well, energetically, I want to know what you think about it. For those of you out there that are dying to call into the show, please don't die. 1-800-930-2819. Dial 1-800-930-2819. Colette's ready to take your call. Get ready to make a shift. We'll be right back. welcome back. You can go to drpatshow.com or you can go to transformationtalkradio.com. And pretty soon, go to transformationradio.fm. That's our new network. That thing, that has been part of what we're talking about today. And Colette Marie Stefan joining us here today. Thetruthisfunny.com. Fabulous radio show. It's amazing. Takes live callers. Not that you're not live, but we do take callers live, I meant to say. And if you're watching, if you're on the drpatshow.com website, go ahead and go there. There's a video right in the middle of the page. You're going to be able to see Colette. You're going to be able to see me.
And
Benny doesn't
Pearl
want,
now.
and now Pearl. Uh,
There
and,
she
you
is.
know, and that's what we're talking about. Now, folks can get a copy of the book through Amazon right now,
Uh,
right?
yes, yes,
All
they
right.
can.
Okay, Pearl is like, I'm done. Pearl's
Yeah,
gone.
she just had to see your goddess in the
She had to see
background
the
there.
goddess in the background. And
She
actually,
heard actually, she heard the word goddess and she
uh,
thought, "Oh, they're asking for me."
well, let me just turn around here and see if I can bring her back because she is. We were talking about you doing dragons, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I was saying that part of my journey was in the creation of these beautiful goddess pieces that talked to me, right? They told me what they wanted, how they wanted it. And they actually became kind of self portraits in a way. I have others in the other room. And, she said, Pat, you have a couple of sides to you, right? You got this side over here that kind of looks like that. But then you know what, dude? You got this side over here that looks like that. You
I
got
love it.
stuff in the back going on. And I wanted to talk with you about success.
Mhm.
How have you learned and can share with us how do we face the many sides of who we are so that we can be successful? And for those of you out there that want a live on air reading with Colette, 1-800-930-2819. No, they're pinging me. They're saying, do I have to be on video? No. So people,
Yes,
you
that
don't,
would be
but in,
challenging.
but in the future, actually, you are going to be able to be on the video with us. 1-800-930-2819. Many faces success. Tell us about that.
Okay, well, you know, in our society or in our world right now, a lot of times people are defining success by third dimensional means. How much money people have, the type of car they drive, the way people dress, all of those things. And those things are important because we do live in a third dimensional world and we do need to manifest in this world. Having said that, we are actually conscious beings that are traveling in a human body, and we have our, if we are not balanced in our soul and our spirit and our body, we might focus a lot on success of you know getting a lot of money or getting a degree or any of these things. What I have found is true success for me
Mm,
was following my heart
mm.
and listening to my intuition, because let me tell you, your intuition will never be logical. It's rare. And I had a good friend of mine say that, if you say insane slowly, it's actually a good thing. So that you're actually, when you're using your intuition and you add your perception to it, and you're able to take that and actually clear energy for yourself and for your children and for other people on the planet, and everybody can do it. It is that, to me, is true success. I don't know if you've noticed, but it is not fun having fun when your friends aren't having fun too.
Right. No.
it and I don't have fun thinking about people suffering in the world,
No, I don't.
babies starving in the world, misinformation being perpetuated throughout the world. So I decided I'm going to write a book that is, intuitive. It's definitely, don't listen to what I say, test it for yourself.
Right.
Having said that, I have had some very, very good results. And with different people moving forward in their life, or people who had tumors that no longer have them, or like I was talking about, autistic children that are no long that are now functioning at a high level. There's also so many ways that you can shift energy. And the other thing is, it's just fun.
Yeah.
Like, after you learn how to do this and after you realize, "Hey, I can do this," I love that moment the most. Is I love when I'm at a seminar or I'm on a call with someone and they're shifting and they're like, "Oh my goodness, I got it. I got it. I get it. I get it." And that light bulb goes on and you know, that is fun. For me, success, true success is when you are a balanced person. And that means that in your body and your soul and your spirit, you need to be balanced.
Yeah.
We did not get put on this planet to just race around like crazy chickens with their heads cut off, to get to work, to get home, to run our kids to, here and there. If you take a look at what's going on in the world right now, many, many people are just not really having that much fun.
Yeah, I know. And you said something about worry. Now, we have a fabulous one of our listeners on the phone ready to chat with us, Mr. Benny. Let's bring her on.
Yeah, Angelica is calling in from Redmond.
Hey, Angelica.
Hi, Angelica.
Hi, Dr. Pat. Hi, Colette. Thank you so much for taking my call. I really appreciate it.
How can we help you
Absolutely.
today?
Well, I'm kind of, well, not kind of, I'm very concerned about my adult son in California. And he just
Okay.
seems to be going through a lot of struggle.
Okay. I like to get a baseline from people just so that I have an idea how much this is actually bothering you. On a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being like this is really devastating and it's really challenging for you, where are you?
Um, Probably an 8.
Okay. That feels really strong. See, what I'm doing is I'm listening to your words, and as you are speaking, I'm picking up the weaknesses, like in what you're saying. And when I say weakness, I just want to let people know that I don't mean you're a weak person when I say that. I just mean that your energy is out of alignment with what you're saying. So we have all these stories about about ourselves and our children that we could just let go of. How old is your son?
He just turned 24.
Yeah, see, because I was picking up that he has a weakness to his age. Did something happen to you when you were 24?
Um, I, I don't, I don't, I don't think so.
Were you starting a new relationship or you were in school, something? Because it's coming up that a hardship at that age for yourself at that age.
Um, I think that I was in a relationship at that age, and I hadn't finished school at that time. I was just sort of
See,
wandering.
the word that I was just going to say is the word that came to me is lost. And so we want to
Mm.
strengthen you to everything you've ever lost and everything that you've ever found that you wish you wouldn't have. That's what's coming up. And so your son, it's this is very, very common with parents. Is when our children reach a specific age, quite often it'll bring up issues that we had when we were that age. And so your son, let's just strengthen him. As a mom, I'm just going to teach you to do something. It may sound simplistic, but we have a short window of time here. So, if you consider
Sure.
yourself like a binary computer, a binary means you have one of two choices. You're either in alignment or out of alignment with your energy. Your central nervous system would be like the hard drive of that computer. You can think about your son right now, and so think about him, and we're going to strengthen you
Hmm.
to him and him back to you energetically. And I want you to put some tension into your spine right now and squeeze your buttocks and think about the energy running up and down your spine very quickly. And if you put your hand on your heart and you feel your heartbeat, that will calm you. And we just want to strengthen this for you, that every single time you have a thought about your son, that you are going to strengthen him and throw the thought, and I'm just energetically shifting this for you, that anytime you have a thought about your son not doing well, that you would throw that thought out into the black holes and we're going to bring in
Mhm.
what you want to see for him. So we want to focus on what we want, not on what we don't want, and especially when it comes to our children. So as a mother, you have a special connection to your children, and you have the power to have every single thought work for you. And just by doing that, you will start to notice that your son will start to feel better to you. And I just want to check in with you right now. The thought of being able to actually do something, how does that feel for you right now?
Mm.
It feels powerful.
And you're releasing a lot right now. This weeping is what I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier, sentimental sadness.
Hmm.
While I was talking, I
Yes.
was doing a lot of energetic shifts that are I didn't voice. Okay, I don't need to voice them. They're happening very, very quickly right now. There is some karma between you and your son, and some things going on that we don't really need to get into, but I can feel the energy running up and down my body. I'm getting goosebumps and chills from it. And your son is shifting right now. And so we're just going to strengthen you to that every single time you have a thought about him, you are going to strengthen him and you're going
Yes.
to strengthen yourself. I like to think of it, if you push the picture of what you don't want in your mind out and you make a little black and white postage stamp out of it, and then pull in right
Uh-huh.
front and center what you want to see for your child, and shift that energy on your midline like that, and just realize that it can change and it will change. I've had amazing things happen just from a mom is very powerful. That is why I dedicated my book to mothers. Because if we start with us, and listen, I am a mom and I know what it's like to worry. Every time we worry,
Yes.
we are energetically weakening our children.
I
Every
don't want to
time
do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now I just want to ask you where you are now when you think about your son. Is it still an 8?
No, it feels much, much better.
I'm getting you're at a 3 right now. I want to
Mm.
strengthen your perception to catch up with these energetic
Yeah.
shifts.
Yeah.
And we're just going to strengthen that for you. And before you go to bed tonight, put some energy into your spine before you fall asleep and think about all the things that you're grateful to have about your son, because and what you want for him and how you're grateful that he has those qualities. When we are
Yes.
grateful, we are in a place where we already have what we want, because people will wish for things, but wishing just keeps you in a place where you keep wishing. If you're wishing, it's because you don't have it. If you're grateful, it's because you do. And so we want to get your subconscious and your unconscious mind strong to your conscious mind, so that every single thought you have is going to strengthen you and your son. And by the way, thank you so very much, because you're also strengthening all the people that are listening in. And thank you for being so brave as to call into the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. And what a powerful message for all of us, though. I love when you do this. Tell everybody for a minute when you do your show, because, as I listen to your show, and I know you're talking to some very specific people that call in, but I will tell you that all of us are affected by it. How does that work? Tell us when you do your show. And then talk a little bit about this idea of healing that happens over the airways and how it affects many people.
It has been my experience that the people, and I correct for this, that the people that phone into my show, because many people are not brave enough to call in,
Right.
because who wants to air their crap, they're and we're taught that we have to be brave and we have to be work hard, and we don't want to be perceived as being weak, or we're not strong enough to get things done. But I energetically shift my show every time, and I work with some of the most amazing energy practitioners. They're not necessarily ones that you've heard of, but
Right.
they are, in my eyes, brilliant, brilliant practitioners of energy, magicians,
Yeah.
and they all get amazing results. Amazing results. And so what I do is I energetically shift every show that when people call in, quite often the energy practitioners that I have come on will tell me, uh, I'll ask them the week before, what do you perceive the weakness is going to be for the vast majority of the people on the planet on the day that your show's on? And they will tell me, and then that's what we'll work on. And guaranteed, those are the people that will call in, and they will shift for everyone, because it's very common to have similarities in problems. Like if a person has a specific disease, the way they got there can be very similar, but everybody, because we're all unique individuals, has
Hmm.
their own pattern for how they got there. And so we can energetically shift one person, use them as a barometer, as I just did with our wonderful guest here, so that she's shifting not just her and her son, but she's shifting all the mums listening in right now. Isn't that comforting to
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that, we can actually do something?
Yeah. And what's so interesting is that there are a lot of moms out there right now that are worrying about their children and worrying about them in a lot of different ways. Whether they're worrying about their kids attending school or how
Hmm.
that's going to go. And I wanted to ask you about worry. Let's talk about worry for a minute. I remember growing up as a kid, and I grew up on the streets of New York, and I don't remember many people worrying about me. Now, my dad, told me never to go across the street and hang out with the big boys that were over there. I never paid attention to that. It didn't bother me. But I never remember the worry factor being as predominant in the world as it is today. Are you sensing that? What?
Yeah, the reason is, and I honestly, I feel that this is a beautiful thing,
Uh-huh.
because we have access to all this information now. The problem is, the information we have access to is not always accurate. And so, we have every little bit of information we get is energy. Every word is energy. That is why I can write a book and I can energetically shift every word. That is why this book took me so long to write,
Yeah.
and why it was so challenging, because I was pulling the information in intuitively, and then I had to put it into some logical order. And people, when they talk to me, will be like, Colette, you bounce around. And I'm like, the reason I'm doing that is I'm following the weakness. I'm following, okay, now what? Now what? Now what? Now what? And I can guarantee you, what people think their problem is almost 99.999% not what the problem is. And
Right.
it can be something very, very simple, like hearing a siren, or
Right.
in this case, is with this woman, her son being at the age that she was at, and something happened, and she actually, was suppressing it, and we don't even need to know what it is.
Right. Wow, that's interesting because that's a very different model. So, it's different from a model where we had to know what everything was or know what was showing up. I mean, how many thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars have been spent, on therapy? And I'm not saying therapy is not the way to go, but we're integrating mind knowledge with energy knowledge, right?
Hmm.
With emotional knowledge, right?
Yes.
And this is really what you're talking about. It's really creating the integration of these things, isn't it?
Yeah, and I have, like, I have my favorite practitioners, and
Yeah.
I love because they all are different walks of life. Like Karen today, she was on. She's a mom of 3 children. She's in New York. Phil, he's in Arizona, and he's got 4 daughters. Believe me, he understands women now, if he didn't before. And I just had a young man, Will Hatch, on, and he's got a 5-year-old son, and he's a single dad raising that child. These are real people in the world. Leroy Malouf, 83 years old, on his
Right.
14th career. He and
Right.
I have been invited to go back to Egypt and teach another seminar. I
Right.
mean, what a role model. Mark Kettenbach, my colleague that we do the energetic upgrade seminars, he's in Germany. Total different lifestyle. He doesn't have any children. So all of these practitioners have this ability. Sharan Sirdar in England, she's an epigeneticist. Right now, she's actually on a call and she's with Bruce Lipton, and her and I shifted for her. He's her hero. We shifted for her to get on on a show with Bruce Lipton, and now she is.
Yeah. But this is what we're talking about success, though. And, one of the things I want to really address in what you said, and hopefully you can talk about it, is we have these energetic ideas about who we are, when we're supposed to do things in life, and what happens if we don't. So, one of the things you said was you were with somebody, what, 80 something years old. We have this idea right now in our society, especially women, that boom, I am of the age now where I'm never going to have my dream. I'm never going to be able to
Oh
reinvent
no.
myself. I'm never. But don't you
Uh,
sense that we are loading up the planet with that right now?
I love it, Pat. I love it. And I have to say to you, do you like look at you? Look at your story and look how
Yeah.
brilliant and beautiful you are. I mean, wow. Like I didn't, when I got into doing this work, I hadn't meditated. I didn't know anything about, any energy. I didn't know anything about quantum physics because I didn't even pass algebra,
Right.
And I've studied, with Nassim Haramein, who's from the Resonance Project Foundation, and just studying with him, all of a sudden my energetic shifts went like so much faster because I understand how we're all connected now.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the math for sure, but I could, tell you that. I feel like I'm just beginning. Like
Yeah. Too.
I'm
Me too.
once again I'm doing my website, and I know you are too, because I look at my website and I'm going, that doesn't represent me at all. I
Right.
have changed so much in the last 2.5 years. I'm always pushing, and that's what I love about the people that I work with, is they are always pushing too. And for me, it's so simple. It really is. I understand that I have to make money doing this work so that I can continue to do this work. But
Exactly.
that is not the reason why I am doing this work.
I know. I
It,
know.
it- and
I
people
know.
need to understand that, they focus on what and how. Ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Are you following your heart? Or are you following someone else's idea of success?
Yeah.
And many, many women, my mom used to always say that a woman does not come into her own until she's 35. I mean, and it just keeps getting better. Now, if
I'm right there
women,
with you. I'm right there
absolutely.
with
And, Leroy and I just talked about this when he was on my radio show 2 weeks ago. I said, Leroy, like, there was some women were phoning in and they were feeling like used up and old because, you know, and I said, why is it that people will spend thousands of dollars on, an aged scotch or an aged bottle of wine, and yet they call, older women cougars?
you.
And it's kind of like, what I'm getting. I want both. There's this fallacy out there that there is a battle between men and women on this planet, and I can guarantee you that that is not true.
Yeah.
The only battles that are worth fighting are there aren't any battles worth fighting. Men and women, I connect with them all the time, and people want to have fun. People want to love each other. People
Yeah.
want to enjoy it. And sometimes they have these energetic blocks that they can't love themselves.
Yeah.
Once you can love yourself and
Yeah.
once you start balancing yourself, then everyone around you just falls into place because you're the in the eye of the storm instead of part of the chaos that's spinning around.
Well,
And it's
do
just
this
so
again.
beautiful.
Let's do this again because you really just now named our next video radio show that we're going to do together. You just named it. It is battle. The battle that we have is within ourselves. The
Yes.
battle we have is within ourselves. Put the gloves down, baby. Put the gloves down.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you.
As my
Quit.
friend Kenny Rogers used to say, you got to know when to hold them, you got to know when to fold them. What? Thank you for today. What is your personal message? What would you like to leave us with?
Something that came to me that I feel is really good for people to know is that good. and being good and doing good is good enough. You don't need to be great. Just get out there and do what you can do and energetically get in touch with what is bothering you. If you read my book, it explains like
Yeah.
how this actually works.
Yeah.
And I am telling you, I have seen so many wonderful transformations, and
Oh,
I have that intent for everybody listening in right now and everybody that reads the book, that we start to work together and enjoy
I know.
life.
That's what I love about you. Colette is amazing. Love you so much. Colette Marie Stefan, everybody. Catch your show. The book is fabulous. Read my testimonial about it. I was shifting as I was reading it, and I can't even tell you what any of that means. Thank you, Colette, for joining us here today. TheTruthIsFunny.com, thedrpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, TakeBackTalkRadio.com coming your way. We'll see you next time.
I love you, Pat. Thank
Love
you
you,
for being such
Colette.
an inspiration.